running from the bad guy. I'ma stare him in the eye like, what's up?
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another day of My Story, My Strength 365-day challenge, where I talk about things that I had to go through in life to learn and guide myself through my healing journey. Even though I didn't understand it at the time, I really don't understand a lot of things now. I just know that it made me who I am today, and I'm happy that I am the person I am, and I was able to survive it. I also did this to show the world, you guys, all of you hello out there watching, that healing is not easy. It's really hard because of some of the things we had to live through to get to the point in our life where we're ready to heal. We have to do all that work to undo a lot of the thoughts and things that we felt about ourselves because of the trauma. So thank you again for tuning in. And we're going to start off with a trigger warning. Like always, this episode includes accounts of childhood violence, physical assault, school fights, being threatened, trauma around self-worth, and legal consequences. If you experience violence or trauma, please proceed with care and support. And if you need to step away, step away. If you need to turn it off, because this is about you. So when I was younger, I had to fight so much. I was fighting all the time. People just wanted to fight me. I never really liked to fight. I never enjoyed fighting, but for some reason, everyone thought I did, and they just well, this memory that I'm going to share with you is the reason why a lot of people came up to fight with me. Okay, it started when I was younger. I grew up in a not so great area. I grew up in an urbanish area where there was a lot of crime, a lot of violence, a lot of fighting. I didn't have the luxuries like nice schools in my area. So the school that I went to when I was younger, it was a school where there was a lot of fighting. Of course, there weren't a lot of budgets in the school system, so there wasn't a lot of books. The education wasn't, it was lacking. The teachers weren't patient. Even the principal choked me and my cousin out one time when we were arguing with each other in the hallway. So I believe it was in the fourth grade. My mom, the end of my third grade year, fourth grade year, my mom decided to have me and my sisters bused to a school on the other side of town, almost at the edge of our in the city that we lived in. And it was a PWI, predominantly white institute, or a predominantly white school, because it was elementary. It's not a college. I know PWIs are referred to as college, but those of you who know what I mean, you guys know what I mean. And that elementary school, in the elementary school, there was not really a lot of fighting. There was a little people picking here and there, but I wasn't bullied. I had friends who never had to live through what I had to live through, and I had a decent time at that school. So when I went to the seventh grade, junior high for us, I mean, in the middle school for you guys, sharing my age, we had seventh, eighth grade. There was no middle school. I had sort of a culture shock. I was back in a school that was a mixed culture, mostly Black and Hispanic, and I was excited to be there because, again, from fourth, fifth, sixth grade, I was in a PWI school type situation, which again was a beautiful experience. I made a lot of friends there. I haven't heard or seen any of them in decades. I do think about them often because, again, it was a good school. I was a bit of a nerd. I was in the band. I played the clarinet. I was in the orchestra. I played the cello. I had good grades, and I loved being at school. So one day, I was at the student store waiting for my turn so I could buy some chips and juice, and this girl just walks up to me, and she tells me, "I'm gonna beat your ass after school." I'm standing there like, "What?" I didn't know her. I did not know. I knew her. We had mutual friends. I had a friend who I grew up with in the neighborhood with, who went to her school, and I had no idea what I could have done her because I didn't know her personally. I knew her reputation. My friend used to tell me about how she would beat up girls at school all the time. But I didn't know. I didn't go to that school. I didn't know how badly she hurt these girls. She could have just pushed them down. I didn't know anything about her. All I knew is I never fought anyone outside of my cousins. Mainly my boy cousins. And when I did get into a fight, it was in my first fight was in the elementary school my mom removed me from. And it was because someone like 3 grades above me really beat me up. Like, she beat me up pretty bad, banged my head into a pole, which is one of the reasons my mom took us out of that school. So needless to say, I was really terrified. I thought she was really gonna beat my ass. And the whole day I was just scared. I told my sister, who told me, you know, you got to whoop her ass because mom don't play that. 'Cause, you know, my mom used to tell us, you know, if you get into a fight and you don't win that fight, when you come home, I'm gonna beat your ass worse than they did. So that made the situation even more stressful on me. I didn't want to fight. I just wanted to go to school, be left alone. I liked my little life. I was in band. I had this, it was great. But that wasn't in the cards for me because after school, she got on our bus. She rode separate buses because she got off at a different side of the neighborhood than I did. So she got on my bus so that she can get off at my bus stop. Again, it wasn't even her bus stop, but she made a point. She still made it a point that she wanted to whip my ass. So I sat in the back of the bus the entire ride home, trying not to cry and not knowing what was going to happen or why she still wanted to fight me. Because I'm like, what did I do to this girl? What did I do? I started putting rings on her fingers, and she's back staring at me, looking at me like, bitch, I'm going to beat your ass. And I'm like, okay, she's trying to mess up my face, because we all know someone put rings on their fingers. That's because they're trying to scar your face up. She sat at the front of the bus again, and I was all the way in the back, watching her just really prepare to fight me. And I was really I was fighting hard to keep the tears back because I have my sister right here. My sister's giving me tips on how to beat her up, and her friends are trying to tell me, it's going to be okay. And um, I just wanted it to be over. So we finally get to the bus stop, and she gets off before me. I see her giving her friends her backpack and her purse, pulling her hair up, getting ready to fight me, putting, the little Vaseline on her face. Y'all know what I mean. And I'm walking off the bus. I'm pulling my hair up, and everyone's saying stuff to me. But all I can hear is muffled noises because all I could think about was being humiliated by this girl who decided that I was such a bad person that she needed to beat me up. So when I finally got off the bus, we waited for the bus to leave, which didn't take long because I was the last one off the bus, so it just kind of drove off as soon as I got off, and I tried to walk off a little bit, but she came up behind me, so I had no choice but to turn around because she was going to hit me from behind. She was going to hit me. She didn't say anything. She walked up to me and she pushed me and started swinging, and I blacked out. I blacked out. The next thing I know, I'm on top of her and I'm just punching her in the face, punching her in the face, punching her in the face. And someone tried to pull me off of her, but when she sat up, she punched me in the face. And then when she swung again, she punched him. It was a boy who was trying to break it up. So he hit her and she falls back down. And I'm back on top of her and I black out. And all I remember is my sister getting me off of her. And I was calm enough to see what I did. And I mean, I beat her up pretty bad. I'm not proud of that. I was never proud of that. I never wanted to fight her. I wanted to get to know her and hopefully be friends with her because we had mutual friends. But for some reason, she didn't like me. So the next day, I was called to the dean's office where the police was waiting for me to tell me that the girl was in the hospital in serious condition. And I felt even worse because I'm not a violent person. But the damage I caused this girl was something that she would have to live with for the rest of her life, that she is probably still living with to this day. And I was charged with assault and attempted murder. But at the end, but I ended up with probation and a fine and community service. Like they had me chopping fire trails in the mountains like I was a man, but I still didn't do any jail time. Um, but this was the fight that made everybody want to fight me because this was like this big old epic. Oh, she bad, and they wanted to see who could whoop my ass. I never wanted that life. I was 13 years old when all this happened. I wanted to be a child, but this was the start of a life where I had to look over my shoulder. I hated that moment, and if I could change it, I would have. But I have to deal with the cards that I've been dealt. I have to play the cards that I've been dealt. Um, the one that I identified is I started to believe that violence was a part of my identity. That to be safe, I had to become dangerous. I really felt like that. I felt guilty for hurting another girl, ashamed that I was no longer innocent, and terrified that my actions marked me forever. I internalized the belief that I couldn't control my own body or my own responses, and that fear that it could take over me at any moment because I would black out. I fought a lot after that because of that situation. People just wanted to fight me, and I blacked out. I felt splintered. Lifelong, I was longing for safety, yet trapped in survival instincts that I couldn't switch off. But I believed my value. I believed my value depended on my strength, and that kindness was a weakness that needed to be buried alive. Because if I was trying to be nice to someone, they wanted to fight me. Because again, I didn't do anything to this girl. People would walk up to me, just wanting to fight me, and I was just like, why? I hated it. So my reflection question to you is: have you ever felt like your survival tactics pulled you away from who you truly wanted to be? And how has that choice affected how you see yourself today? Because honestly, to this day, my family talks about that and another story about me. They don't talk about any of my accomplishments. Like, I graduated college 4 times, you guys. I really did. I graduated from 2 separate colleges with a bachelor's and a master's degree. 4 different degrees, 4 different times I graduated. But the only thing they talk about is that fight and another fight that I got into. Actually, 3 fights. There are 3 fights that they talk about, these epic fights. I've overcome the loss of my child. I've overcome severe domestic and childhood abuse, but they only talk about those fights that I got into. A couple of more. I mean, I fought a lot, and that's all they want to talk about. So that affected my identity and who I was. So my negative mindset is I lost myself in violence. I betrayed my true self to protect myself against harm. But I needed to understand and reframe that the survival responses are instincts. They're my instincts. They're not moral failure. I protected myself in that moment. And that doesn't erase my kindness or compassion. I needed to recognize that those actions did not define me. They highlighted my resilience because I did not want to fight her. And if she ever hears me again, I apologize for that because I didn't want to fight her. And I would have never done those things, not consciously, because I don't like to fight. So my affirmation for that is I am not the worst moment of my past. I am the strength that rose above my fear. My survival does not diminish my humanity, it reveals it. So we're going to the mini session. Our coping tool is called spatial repatterning. It is a somatic and an NLP type of tool that we can use to help rewire physical memories from fight and fear to calm and confident. I do this a lot. Y'all see me move my hands, and I do that a lot. That's actually one of my coping skills. I don't know if you see me doing it. I do this a lot. It kind of brings me back. So you'll see me doing my hands around, but when I put my hands down, that's what I'm doing. So first thing you need to do with this coping tool is recall the tense moment right before the incident. In my case, right before the fight. Tight chest, clenched fists. Notice your posture or your sensations. And then next, step back into a stable stance. Wide with your feet hip width apart. So however far your hips are, wide width, um, that's how far apart your feet should be. And you relax your shoulders and you open your hands and drop them down by your side. Now, as you breathe as you breathe slowly, physically visualize pushing the tension down your body through your legs and out onto the ground. Just push all of that down out of your body onto the ground and repeat: I am grounded, I am steady, I choose calm. You repeat that again: I am grounded, I am steady, I choose calm. Practice this posture. Practice this posture and breath combo daily, even for a minute. Over time, your body will swap fight for calm. It'll fight the instinct for confidence. But you have to do this. Again, this is something that you can't. These tools are practices. And if you want, you can go through. You could do multiple ones a day. I've given a few of these. Some of them are same. Some of them are different. Some of them are similar. Some of them, but they all help. And if you do them daily, you will see the results. So my 1 minute empowerment challenge is to rewrite your space. Stand in a place where you felt trapped or unsafe or in your mind. Close your eyes and speak out loud this statement. This statement, right? Sorry. This space no longer holds my fear. I rewrite my strength. Then I need you to literally move across the room, step outside, shake your hands, or slam the door. Don't slam the door. I will get in trouble for that, and I still don't like that. But however you do it, shake your hands or slam the door. Rewrite the energy in that space with action. Reclaim your narrative. I've been excited for this part, my survivor spotlight. Hold on, there's a truck coming by, so we're gonna let it go by, you guys, because I want you to really hear this survivor spotlight because I am really a huge fan of this person. Um, I probably would be starstruck if I ever saw her. I'm not really the type to be starstruck, but there's a few people that I'd be like, ah. And this woman, Monique, that's my girl. She isn't just a comedian, actress, or Academy Award winner. She is a survivor of unspeakable betrayal, abandonment, and emotional devastation. She was born in Baltimore, Maryland. Monique was raised in a home where laughter coexisted with silence, the kind of silence that protects abusers and shames survivors. As a child, she was sexually abused by her brother, a trauma she would carry for years in silence. But the wound didn't come from him alone, it came from those who looked away. Her family didn't protect her. When she finally told the truth, she wasn't met with support, she was met with rejection. Her truth made others uncomfortable, so they discarded her instead of embracing her. That early abandonment marked the beginning of a painful pattern in Monique's life, being silenced by those who should have stood by her. I'm so sorry about the dog, you guys. There's dogs everywhere. Um, Even as she rose to fame, her groundbreaking stand-up comedy groundbreaking stand-up comedy, and then she starred in The Parkers and won an Oscar for her chilling performances. Her performance in Precious. Oh, I was only able to watch that movie twice. She faced betrayal behind the scenes. In the entertainment industry, she was labeled difficult for demanding fair pay, respect, and boundaries, things that every black woman should be able to expect, but too often not they won't get that. She was blackballed, criticized, and erased by powerful institutions that resented her for not shrinking. But Monique refused to be silent ever again. She has spoken openly and fiercely about her abuse, her family's rejection, and the trauma of being unheard. She has used her platform to shatter generational curses, calling out both personal and institutional betrayals. She didn't just survive abuse, she survived the cost of telling the truth. Her work today is not just about entertainment, it's about healing Black women from the inside out. She speaks on body image, worthiness, aging, motherhood, and the deep need to stop sacrificing our dignity for acceptance. Monique challenges industries, families, and communities to do better, to believe survivors, to honor their stories, and to repair what they've broken. Monique's story is not one of survival in secret. It's one of survival in full view, and every scar held up to the light. With every scar held up to the light. Sorry, she survived childhood sexual abuse and the brutal betrayal of not being protected. She survived being cast aside by Hollywood for speaking the truth about inequality. She survived the abandonment of family, community, and power structures that couldn't handle her voice, but she never let silence win. Monique turned her pain into a platform. She turned her shame into a megaphone. You guys see why I don't do it around this time. She said what no one else would say, and in doing so, gave other women the courage to speak too. Her survival is not just personal, it's political, it's revolutionary, and it is loud because it needs to be heard. So to Miss Monique, thank you for refusing to water down your truth to make others comfortable. Thank you for surviving not just the abuse itself, but the abandonment that followed. Thank you for using your voice to hold the mirror up to families, to systems, and to silence. You reminded us that we are not difficult for demanding dignity. You reminded us that believing in our worth is a radical act of survival. You taught us that breaking the silence is the first step to breaking the cycle. We hear you, we believe you, and we honor you. So remember that your scars are not shame, they are your story of survival. If this touched you in any way, please subscribe to Empowered Voices Finding Strength in Survivors to hear daily challenges, weekly podcasts like Insights of a Survivor, Friday, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, Raw and Real with All Love, every last Saturday, 12 p.m. Central Standard Time, and the Kiss Corner with Coach Kiss every Sunday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And don't forget to grab my book, A Place to Belong by Perry Jasper. It's an unforgettable tale of fighting through destruction to find your place. And again, help our movement. Please help build our movement. Donate or sponsor to support rescuing silent stories, rebuilding communities, and empowering survivors like me. All of my links are below in the description. And please remember that your story does not end in pain. It begins in power. Stay strong. I love you guys all and have a great rest of your day.
Heard you looking for a hero. Well, look up. No more running from the bad guy. I'ma stare him in the eye like, what's up? I know the journey got hard for a minute, but I ain't giving this up. Yeah, I got the heart of a champion. If I get knocked down, I